Good day, everyone. My name is Juan Cerberus, and I'm going to discuss the topic about demolition and ejectment order. So, when we say demolition, is dismantling or tearing down structured by the local government unit or authorized personnel. So, pag sinabi natin demolition, is yun ay ang pagpapagiba ng isang bahay ng isang pamilya na pinapanguluhan ng mga LGU or a local government unit. So, when we say eviction naman, it is removing people and their belonging from a certain building, structure, or area. So, pag sinabi natin eviction, ay yan yung pagpapaalis ng mga tao sa isang lugar. So, there are legal basis to do demolition or eviction. Under the Urban Development and Housing Act of 1992, UDHA is the government discourage demolition and eviction because they can harm families and communities. So sinasabi ng Urban Development and Housing Act of 1992 na ang pagpa-demolish or ang pagpapa-evict ng mga tao o ng isang pamilya sa isang lugar ay hindi pinapahintulutan dahil maari itong makasakit. However, demolition or eviction may be allowed in certain situations. So, situation when the demolition eviction is allowed is letter A. If people live in danger zones or unsafe places. Letter B. If government infrastructure project will be built and funding is already available. Letter C is if there is a court order. So, pag sinasabi natin, if people live in danger zones is yan yung nakatira malapit sa mga railroad tracks, garbage dams, riverbanks, shorelines, waterways, landslide zones, or yung mga maaring makapahamak ng mga taong naninirahan sa mga delikadong lugar. Letter B is if we say if government infrastructure project will be built and funding is already available. So yan yung kailangan umalis ng mga tao, kailangan nilang lumipat dahil ipapasagawang mga galawan ng mga government like roads, if let's say gagawa ng highway yung government. So, kailangan nilang makipag-allegro or kailangan nilang makipag-usap sa inyo, makipagsunduan na kailangan yung lumipat or kailangan yung i-demolish yung bahay nyo. Pero, may kapalit nun or bibigyan kayo ng assistance para makalipat kayo. So, ang ikatlo is if there is a court order. So, there are requirements before a demolition or eviction can happen. So, these safeguards must follow. Court order, consultation, presence of officials, identification, proper conduct, no firearms, proper clothing, and relocation. When we say court order, there must be a legal order from a court or proper authority unless the situation is really dangerous like living in a train tracks. So, kailangan ng kagaya nga ng sinabi ko kanina, kailangan ng court order before doing demolition or eviction. So, yan ay pagpapatunay na pumapayag yung or yung government na talaga yung gumawa ng paraan para ilayo sa mga dangerous zone yung mga tao na nanirahan sa lugar kung saan maaring makaapekto sa kanilang pamumuhay at maaring mapahamak ang kanilang buhay dahil doon sa mga area na saan malapit sa mga danger zone. Consultation. A genuine consultation with affected families must take place to discuss relocation or assistance. Kagaya rin nga ng sinabi ko kanina, kailangan ng consultation o yung pag-uusap ng magdi-demolish at yung nagmamay-ari ng bahay. Kailangan nilang pag-usapan if papayag ba yung may-ari ng bahay na yon na i-demolish at kailangan din na kung sino man yung magde-demolish nun o sino ang nangungulo doon is kailangan niya ding bigyan ng kapalit kung ano yung gigibain at kung ano yung iiwan nila. Third is the presence of official. Government official or representative must be present to oversee the process. So, dito nga is kailangan ng mga government officials or representative to oversee the project or the ongoing demolition or eviction, which is they can be the witnesses that both parties or the those families that been yung naapektuhan ng mga pamilya or yung kailangang ipa-demolish ng mga pamamahay ay nagkasundo na pumapayag sila na gawin ngayon for their own safety. So, the fourth is identification. Everyone involved must carry proper IDs. Kailangang merong magpapatunay na sila lang at sa kanila nga talaga yon. Number 5 is proper conduct. No demolition should happen at night, during a bad weather or on holidays, and no heavy equipment should be used like bulldozer unless houses are already empty. So, bago gumawa ng mga demolition or eviction, no, dapat sinisigurado yung um, safety ng mga tao. Dapat hindi ginagawa yon sa night, hindi ginagawa yon sa gabi dahil hindi naman talaga proper yon. Hindi rin ginagawa sa bad weather kasi baka yung mga gagawa or mga constructor is mapahamak dahil doon. Hindi rin kinakailangan ng mga mabibigat na mga bagay para ipatumba yung mga bahay, which is like bulldozer, di ba? Yun yung na banggit kanina. And then kinakailangan lang gumamit noon if ever na sigurado na wala ng tao sa bahay at wala ng kagamitan na iwan ng mga taong lumipat or yung mga pamilya na lumipat na nga. Number 6 is no firearms. Law enforcement should not carry high-powered firearms during demolition. So, pinagbabawal talaga yung mga firearms or yung mga baril, no, na gamitin yon sa pag-demolish since napagkansunduan ng both parties na dapat i-demolition at bibigyan sila ng kanilang pamumuhay pag natapos or before gagawin yung demolition. Total, nakapagsunduan naman na gagawin yun, so dapat wala nang masasaktan. PNP should protect the life of the citizens. Number 7, proper clothing. Police should be in uniform and properly identified. Number 8 is relocations. Adequate relocations, temporarily or permanent, must be provided to displaced families. So, yun na nga yung sinabi ko kanina, bago magawa yung demolition or eviction, there must be kasunduan na bibigyan sila ng malilipatan or assistance to build their own house before the demolition should be done. So, bago magawa yung demolition or eviction, no, is meron ng bayarang ng gaganap or something, donation para palipatan ng mga tao na naapektuhan ng mga danger zones or mga gawain or mga proyekto ng mga government, no? So, yun na nga. So, the idea here is to protect the rights and safety of people being evicted or demolished, so it is not done harshly or unfairly. Role of the PNP or the Philippine National Police. The PNP role is to provide police assistance in demolition or eviction, but under strict rules. They can only act if there's a valid order. So, yun na nga yung sinasabi ko. Bago silang gumawa ng mga demolition or eviction, dapat merong nagpapatunay na pumapayag ang both parties or it is valid or it is already ordered by the law or ordered by the court. Second is pre-demolition conference. So, pre-demolition conference is mandatory, meaning a meeting with stakeholders must happen before the demolition to discuss safety and procedure. So, yun na nga yung sinasabi ko na bago gumawa ng demolition or eviction, dapat kinakausap muna yung mga ma-demolate at mga ma-evict na mga families and houses para hindi unfair yung paggaganap nun. Merong malilipatan yung mga pamilya at okay din yun sa side ng mga government. The PNP rule must protect life and property, maintain peace and order, enforce laws fairly and without abuse, only when necessary and reasonable force only use necessary and reasonable force if really needed. So, Yun na nga yung sinasabi ko, yung mga police officer or the PNP must protect lot property. So, dapat iwasan yung gulo. Kaya ginagawa yung pag-uusap muna bago gumawa ng demolished or eviction. Only use necessary and reasonable force if really needed. So, gagamit lang ng lakas, no, if ever merong mangyayaring hindi maganda. So, they must also make sure human rights are strictly respected during the process. So, dahil nga nanumpa sila na protektahan nila ang mga buhay ng isang tao, they must also make sure human rights are strictly respected during the process. Procedures in the enforcement of a demolition or ejectment order. Conduct risk and threat assessment. Inform the PNP personnel of the situation and task. Strictly observe human rights. Chief of Police or COP should lead the PNP contingent. No unnecessary force or acts that harm, harass, or terrorize affected parties. PNP rule limited to maintaining peace and protecting all parties. Tear gas, water cannons, or reasonable force used only if peaceful means fail. PNP members affected personally or family involved must still comply with authority and not interfere. COP or Chief of Police ensures presence of fire and medical teams on the site. Conclusion. Demolition and eviction are sensitive matters balancing public safety, development, and human rights. The law ensures that they are only done under strict conditions with proper safeguards and with the PNP's rule limited to maintaining order, not harming citizens. Respect for human dignity and provision of relocating remain central to the process. So again, I am Joanne Cirbulos and that ends my topic. Thank you for watching and I hope you learned something.